Everybody, as you can see, today we are back in Kerbal Space Program. So today we are going to be recreating the bumper rocket from the 1940s. It was the first rocket in space and was actually a modified V2 missile. So let's get straight to the build. You see I'm testing out some fuel tanks here. I was thinking about using the NCS adapter, but it just didn't work, didn't fit quite right. Way too small. So I decided to go with fairings instead, as it was a lot easier to get the shape with those. So, yep, just gonna put on the fuel tanks first. Now this recreation does use some parts from the Restock Plus mod, but you can replace those with stock parts and it'll work just fine. Yeah, like for the probe core, you can use this small probe core that is in stock KSP, and you can just put it inside the fairing. And for the fuel tanks that I'm going to use for the bumper, you can use Oscar Bs instead of the Oscar C from Restock Plus. But yeah, I do recommend the Restock Plus mod. It's really good. Adds a lot of variety to the game. So yeah, the bumper was a modified V2 missile with a tiny missile on top. So it was a two-stage rocket, and it was the first rocket to cross the Kármán line. And there were actually multiple of them. There was not just one. So, yep, just putting on the fuel tanks and changing the color to black and white because that's the color of the real one. Now, I wanted to use these deluxe winglets, but you can't put wings onto, like, attach other wings to them, so I did not use those. And instead, I just went with the wing connector pieces. They worked a lot better. So, yeah, yep, just trying to, yep, in the Restock mod, you can change the color. I don't think you can in stock KSP. Okay, there we go. We got the winglets, but those were too big, so swap those out. Yep, there we go. Okay, much better. Just gonna use the move tool, but I messed up the placement. Yep, there we go. Messed up the placement, so I just threw those away and put on some new ones. There we go, much better. Put those back on, this time holding the shift key, that way I don't mess up the placement again. And the fins were too short, so let's add some more fins to the bottom. Yeah, those ones right there, okay. And after struggling with the WASD keys, I decided it was not worth it and just used the move and rotate tools. Right about now. Yep, there we go, okay. So yeah, try to use the WASD when I can because it's a little bit easier, more convenient, but sometimes you just gotta use the move tools. Also, that looked just wrong, so turn that around. Now, the V2 is kind of like what the classic rocket ship was based on, and I'm saying rocket ship with like quotes because, you know, it's like the 1010 rocket because of the shape, like that curved shape. That yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, as I said before, it is pretty much just a V2 with a tiny missile on top. They're like, hey, instead of shooting this thing at people, why don't we just shoot into the sky? And I think that's a great idea. Alright. Just gonna put on the decoupler. And time to start building the bumper, which was liquid fuel. I was looking up if it was liquid fuel or solid fuel. Right here. Yep, it was liquid fuel. Alright, so I decided to use the stock spark engine because the Pug and Terry were too big. The Pug is a modded engine. Now I'm going to put on that. That looked too long, and now that's good, but for some reason I made it shorter. I don't know why I did that. So yeah. Apologies for not uploading in a while. I've been a bit sick, and then we had snow, and there's actually a lot of snow outside right now. Pretty nuts, because it never snows in Louisiana. Or right down south. But yeah, it's even snowing in Florida, which is pretty crazy. The snow's still melting. And, alright, now I'm going to use the basic fins. And I offset them to make them look smaller, but I kind of clipped them into the engine, and that kind of looks bad, but I didn't notice it here. And yeah. Okay. As you can see, I have a few mods, like stock like station parts, and the Starship expansion project, which is a really cool mod. You should definitely check those two out. And there we go, quick crossfade to the launch pad and doing a test launch. Until I realized that it doesn't have engine gimbling, and instead, the rocket in real life actually used like these little flaps inside the engine, like right in front of the engine, to direct the exhaust. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea, and I really like that. So I decided I should recreate that. So yeah, I reverted to the VAB quick. We're just gonna, okay, there we go. Now, I looked up what they look like because I had no idea how to make that. And I settled on using some flaps and just kind of clipping them into the engine to make it kind of look like that. And I think it looks okay. I think it looks pretty good. Also, I realized the fins are not level. Like there's a funny little bump, and I did not like that, so I fixed that right here. I fixed that right here. There we go. Okay. And then I put on some flaps. There we go. Except they didn't want to line up at first, which is really weird. I don't know why. Does the game do that sometimes? It just doesn't want to line up your parts. But they got it on eventually. Shortly. There we go. Okay, fins are on. Or flaps are on, I mean. Fins were already on. Alright, just gonna offset them to line them up nicely with the bottom of the rocket. There we go. And that flag is from the Kerbal Planetary Base Systems. So definitely go check out that mod. It's really cool. And I'm probably going to do a video on it soon. Quick crossfade to the launch pad. You can see our beautiful V2. And time for launch. Oh, yep. Resizing the screen because I realized you guys cannot see the bottom of the screen. So there we go. Just going to fix that real quick. And almost done. Yeah, right there. Okay. I think that's good right there. Alright, ready for takeoff in 3, 2, 1, okay, go. And wow, listen to that engine go. Alright, here we go. Everything is going good. Also, this thing is massively over-engineered. I could probably land it on the Mun. I might do that in a future video. I'll land a bumper rocket on the Mun. Because it's almost like an SSTO. The first stage might be able to get in orbit. Or at least very close. It's very overkill. Alright, and now time for separation and successful SEP of the bumper. Let's go. Alright. And yep, just climbing up, getting our apoapsis nice and high above the atmosphere. Turning off SAS to conserve battery because this thing doesn't have any sort of power generation on board. I mean, it was 1950s. What do you expect? And we have crossed the Kármán line, which is the line between the atmosphere and space. In real life, I believe it's 100 kilometers. But in Kerbal, it's only 70, so. Yep. Now we're just going to time warp down. And this thing is literally a missile, so it is going to go very, very fast. And as you can see, it is already going very, very fast, and it's just going to keep speeding up as it falls. There we go. We're falling at 1,000 meters a second, and we are not slowing down. Maybe a little bit. Alright, and preparing for splashdown now! And it exploded. Or so it seems as the dust clears, we see it somehow survived the impact at 1,000 meters a second. Don't ask me how this thing survived. I have no idea. And it just kind of floated there, which is really weird. But after I stopped the time warp, it floated to the surface as I was trying to recover vessel. It did not want to recover till it got on the surface. And we're out of battery now. So, recover the vessel, and quick fade to the launch pad, and there we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a quick test, first episode. We're going to recreate a lot more rockets, so if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!